shows that from the mastoid air cells, the inflammations can spread easily to the direction of the sigmoid sinus, where we have dura, dura mater, and that's why the meningitis can develop easily. Zygomatic arch or process is seen, external acoustic meatus. Here we have the mandibular fossa, if you remember, and in the dorsal part we have a little nerve which passes through. The guy who was Zoltán Majoros and made it in 87 and died then in 90 in a car accident. So labeled with this black wire, I don't know what kind of material is this. This is the coda tympani. This passes through the so-called petrotympanic fissure. This is the petrotympanic fissure I mentioned last time when I made this kind of trail. Okay, so here posteriorly in the mandibular fossa, petrotympanic fissure. From below you can see two other nerves, what he labeled. This is the carotid canal, the red, and what he forgot to label is the bluish, the jugular foramen, which should be blue, and behind this one, and in the vicinity or between them, this nerve here is the tympanic nerve, which won't be so long, so it's not true. This is rather the glossopharyngeal which descends, and this way upward we have the tympanic nerve. So here in this area we have the fossula petrosa. This is where the inferior ganglion of the glossopharyngeal nerve is sitting, so where the wire comes out apparently, but the wire is not good this way because the glossopharyngeal nerve exits through the jugular foramen and gives back to the tympanic canalicus the branch which is called tympanic nerve. But this wants to be the glossopharyngeal and the tympanic nerve together. The styloid process would be this, mastoid process this one, and between them the yellow is the facial canal and the thicker is the facial nerve. If I turn to this position, this is the internal acoustic porus and meatus. In the upper anterior part we have the facial nerve, and in the posterior lower we have the vestibulocochlear nerve, which deeply divides into several branches, what we mention later, and this is otherwise the fundus, where it gives rise to branches. You can see anteriorly the cochlea. The cupula is facing laterally and anteriorly, as we mentioned. So this one. You see? In the bony labyrinth, this is a cavity. So what we studied 2.5 turns in the bony cochlea, when you open it with a little hammer or something, you can see an opening. And the cupula is facing laterally and anteriorly. These are the three semicircular canals posteriorly. The anterior one is in vertical position, and otherwise the plane is perpendicular to the longitudinal axis of the pyramid. The posterior one is also in a vertical position, but the plane follows the longitudinal axis of the pyramid. And the last is the lateral, that is in horizontal plane. Okay, yes. Good, that is just for warming up. And this is the carotid canal, and this is the sigmoid sinus, as I told you. Two more things before I open. Two nerves follow the longitudinal axis of the pyramid, medially the greater petrosal nerve, laterally the lesser petrosal nerve. These two. Okay, greater is a branch of facial, the lesser is branch of glossopharyngeal after the continuation of the tympanic nerve and tympanic plexus, what I like to show you. What I like to highlight, he made it this way. When we open it, the greater is found still on the medial part, and the lesser petrosal will be on the open part. Okay, if I open this. It's very fragile otherwise, that's why I don't let anybody to touch it. And even I want to use this, so it's not the regular. You see? So this one, the tympanic cavity, the lateral wall is here. Lateral wall, he made, of course, an artificial tympanic membrane, this transparent material, this tympanic membrane, but you can see the first two ossicles. This is the malleus with the head, and then on the tympanic membrane, the manubrium. And here we have the incus, this one. Okay, body, and this is the loncus. That is the real bone. And here you can see the black wire, the corda tympani runs between them. If I put it back, you can see that it originates from the facial canal, from the facial nerve, which is on the posterior wall. Okay? The fourth structure what I would mention here is this nerve muscle, which is attached to the upper point of the manubrium. This is the tensore tympani, otherwise it would be here anteriorly, but then turns laterally to the lateral wall, and it is inserted to the uppermost point of the manubrium. Okay, this is the lateral wall, also called membranous wall. Yes, membranous wall. Then the medial wall. This would be here the labyrinthine wall. This is the promontory, this little protrusion, and he made the tympanic plexus with black line here. Okay. This is the tympanic nerve otherwise. As I told you, it won't be like this. It would be, just in the bone as tympanic. This is rather the glossopharyngeal, which gives the tympanic invert. And then the tympanic nerve appears in the tympanic cavity at the transition of the inferior and medial wall. And then leaves the tympanic cavity at the transition of the medial and superior wall, this one here. Can you see this? This tiny, then continues here. This is what I said, lesser petrosal. He made this way. If I put it back, it comes from this tiny, and then continues here.
Where again was the greater?
Greater is this.
Okay, we couldn't see this on this drawing.
No, because it is outside
Yeah.
the tympanic cavity. So it would be, if this is the facial canal,
Yeah,
somewhere
so
here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. All right. And now what else? Here he put the stapes here. This tiny is the stapes, and you can see this little red. That is the stapedius muscle. Stapes and the stapedius. So the stapes is sitting in the oval window. That's why we don't see the window itself. Only the stapes with the little red. Okay, you can imagine it's nice work to drill out the skin. So he didn't use hammer; he used the dentistry.
Carving.
Okay,
Could
so
we get this preparation on the exam?
it's present actually, but I think nobody will open it because it's very fragile. So this intact is there, not there, because it's mine. So I don't like to touch anybody. So okay, and so the stapes and the stapedius behind, and the round window is here, approximately, under the promontory and posteriorly.
Can you show them?
Here, okay, below. It has a serious mistake, otherwise I will show later.
So where's the oval window again?
Oval is covered by the stapes.
Okay, so
That's why you don't see.
it's not very big of a distance.
But can you see the stapes?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't see, you have to change your lens.
Yeah, this-
Okay. I
And
don't
it
see
was-
this either, so I just show it.
And the round window is just
The muscle is this, and the round is this.
okay.
Below. This is round, and the stapes, where is it? with the oval, and this little bonnet protrusion, the posterior wall where the red appears, that is the pyramid. Okay. Don't worry, the examiners won't see what they show. So that's why it's risky to say something because you don't know what they want. Okay. I never saw anybody ask this, but of course you have to know the contents of the tympanic cavity. But if you make this drawing, what I made yesterday, then I think you don't need any preparation then. Okay.
Is it enough for 2?
That
We
is
should
enough
make
for 5.
this drawing
Four or
if we
five?
get the topic.
If you make it, then
Yeah.
it's always a good impression.
Anything to do with cochlear, vestibular, or ear, I'm drawing this.
But you have to, in this topic,
For
you have to
eye,
do external.
Of course not. For I have my drawing. I draw the
Okay.
You have to do external air too for this topic. Because external and
External
So that's-
ear,
that makes
but
my
here the
life
main
easier.
point
I can just-
main point is the tympanic cavity. Of course, ossicles can be as you know how they work,
Yeah, okay.
but there the axis is